Oi, oi, oi! Oi, gente! Tudo bom? Hello, everyone! Welcome to the second class of the Brazilian Portuguese Week. I'm so happy to be here with you today. Let me know if you guys can see me and hear me well. I would love to know if the connection is working well. Tudo bom, gente? I hope you enjoyed yesterday's class. I had a lot of fun. If you missed the last class, you can still watch a replay. You still find it on my YouTube channel. But I recommend you sign up for the Brazilian Portuguese Week so you also have access to the material that I prepared for this class, okay? I already saw an email from someone asking for today's material. I did not publish the material prepared for today yet. You have to wait until the end of the class because I just finished preparing the material, so I'm going to post the material of today's class on the website right after the class, tá bem? Muito bom, gente. Who is here? Olá, Aline. So guys, Aline is my assistant and she's in the chat. So if you have any questions, if you need help with anything, Aline can help you. You'll find her in the chat. Olá, Alexandre, Nicole, Chris, Charles, Eldad, Stephen, tudo bom? Lea, Paul, David, Taylor, Beverly, so many people. Thank you so much for joining me today. So today we're going to talk about sentence structure. I never had a class about that before here on this channel, so I hope you're excited about it. I'm going to talk about different sentence structures in Portuguese so you understand how these structures work. And I'm going to share my content with you in a minute. But before that, I'm going to show you where you can sign up for this event. And let's review the calendar. So I'm going to share my screen with you. So on this page, you can sign up for the Brazilian Portuguese Week. I recommend you sign up using this first button because the second button requires you to do like 2 steps. So the first button is just 1 step. You go directly to my website and you can have access to the replays and also the material that I prepared for yesterday's class and today's class, and by the end of the week we have access to everything. This material will be available for only one more week. So after this week, you still have access to this replays and material for 1 more week. Okay, so don't wait for later. Study this material as soon as you can. And the PDFs, they are available for download, so you can download it and have this material with you. Tá bem? Muito bom, gente. So yesterday we had a class about verb conjugation, so like an introduction, a lot of important details related to verb conjugation. And today we are going to talk about basic sentence structure in Portuguese. So these classes are beginner level. That's why I'm teaching the class in Portuguese. But these classes are also a good review for intermediate level students. Okay, so stick with me if your level is intermediate. I also recommend that you watch this class. It's a good review and you might even learn something new because I'm going to share with you a lot of interesting details about sentence structure in Portuguese. Okay, tomorrow we are going to talk about pronunciation, specifically about the letter R. The letter R. I received so many comments and questions about this letter because it has so many variations. So I'm going to talk about all the details tomorrow. Okay. The next class is about prepositions, which I know it is also always a little bit complicated because all those little words, when to use this or the other one. So let's talk about this on the next class. And on Thursday and Friday, we are going to have 2 intermediate level class. So if your level is intermediate, these classes are for you. Add it to your calendar. These classes are going to be 100% in Portuguese. Okay, so the first class is about compound tenses, which means like those tenses that we use the verb ter and another verb, and the other class is about expressions. And the last class, the day 7, I'll share with you a lot of study tips and I also have more time to answer your questions. Okay, so this is the program. I hope you're excited about it. Go to this website to sign up to have access to the material and replays. Also, I want to remind you that I just opened enrollment for my new courses. I only offer classes every 3 or 4 months. So if you want to learn Portuguese with me and my team, join one of my courses. It will be open for enrollment until the end of the week, until Saturday. And classes start next week. So next Monday, classes start, so you have to sign up by the end of the week to join these classes. Okay, on Saturday evening I'm gonna close enrollment because I have to organize these students. So I offer 4 courses. The first one is the essential course for beginners. This one is recommended for beginners who have never studied Portuguese before, but it's also recommended for those who have studied a little bit. Okay, or if you want to review all the basic content. It's a very complete course. You're going to learn all the main conjugations, all the main verbs, regular and irregular, a lot of vocabulary, how to talk about your work, things that you like to do, travel, food, restaurants, everything, all this basic content we are going to learn in this course, okay? And we are going to practice speaking with a Brazilian teacher in small groups. All my courses offer 2 options. You can join just the course, the pre-recorded course, or you can choose to have live classes via Zoom with a Brazilian teacher and a small group of students. Okay, so classes have 6 to 10 students, so they are small groups. You have the opportunity to practice and ask questions. So take a look go to this page, speakingbrazilian.com/courses, and you'll find all information about these courses, the times available, the prices, everything is available here, okay? The next course that I offer, that I recommend for those who are not complete beginners, is the pre-intermediate workshop, which is upper beginner level, okay? It is also beginner, but classes are more, there is more Portuguese in classes, about 80% in Portuguese, just a little bit of English just to help a little bit. And this class offers a good review of the basic content, but also you will start to learn intermediate level content, okay? The grammar and conversation workshop is intermediate level. Classes are 100% in Portuguese, and it is a review of the most important grammar intermediate level, okay? So all compound tenses, subjunctive mood, all that we are going to study in this course. Okay, so it's a very intensive course regarding grammar, but we are also going to practice conversation in class. And the Speaking Brazilian Academy focus on conversation. So if you study everything, you know all the grammar, you know everything, you just need a place to practice, I recommend the Speaking Brazilian Academy. It is not a regular course. It doesn't have a beginning, middle, and end. It is a membership course. You have access to a lot of material to study by yourself, and you join a live class via Zoom once a week with a Brazilian teacher and a small group of students to practice Portuguese, to talk about different topics and learn Portuguese naturally and become more fluent with lots of practice. Okay, guys, so these are the main courses that I offer. If you're interested, go take a look on my website. And if you have questions, feel free to email us the email is school@speakingbrazilian.com, but I also have some time at the end of this class to answer some questions, okay? And Aline is in the chat helping, sending you some useful links, and also Rob, my husband, is also in the chat helping me. Okay, guys, so I would like to invite you to follow me on Instagram, and during this week, I'm hosting a very fun challenge to encourage you to practice a little bit more Portuguese in addition to this class. I recommend that after the class, you go to my Instagram, follow me, and take a look at the challenge. You will find all the instructions here on the Brazilian Portuguese, this highlight. I created this highlight to talk about the challenge. So you'll find all the instructions here, and also on the reels, okay? All the challenges, I'm going to post the challenges on these reels. You will find the first challenge already available, and the second challenge I'm going to post after this class. And I'm going to host a giveaway at the end of the week. If you complete at least one of the challenges, you can participate in the giveaway. So to participate in the challenge, you have to record a video of yourself doing the assignment for the day and post it on Instagram. And don't forget to tag me so I see your video. Okay, so go check it out after the class. And also at the end of this class, so stay with me until the end, I'm also going to give away one pronunciation training with one of my teachers, one of the teachers of Speaking Brazilian School. So it's a 30-minute pronunciation training class. So stay with me until the end of the class, because you have to be in class at the end of the class to participate on this giveaway. Tá bem, gente? Okay, so these are the announcements. Now let's get started. Let's start talking about the content that I prepared for you today. Let me just take a quick look on the comments to see if there is any question. So Edith is asking, tem aulas avançadas também? So the most advanced class that I have is the Speaking Brazilian Academy. The level is upper intermediate level. So some students are more advanced than the others. The objective of the academy is to practice Portuguese, okay? And the grammar and conversation workshop is also pretty advanced. It is intermediate level, but we are going to study advanced grammar. So these two courses could be interesting for you. If you're not sure what course is good for you, I recommend you take my placement test. I prepared a placement test. You will find the placement test on my website. Okay, just go to my website, click courses, and then click placement test, and then you find the placement test. We recommend the best course for you. Muito bom, gente. Okay, so let's get started. Let's talk about sentence structure. Muito bom. So let's start. Okay, so this is the material that I prepared for today. I am going to post this material on the website later today. Okay. Estruturas de frases em português. So sentence structure in Portuguese. So don't be, pay attention to this false friend, right? False cognate. The word frase in Portuguese means sentence in English, okay? It doesn't mean phrase, it means a sentence. So frase is a complete sentence. It's a sentence that conveys a complete meaning, okay? We have many different kinds of phrases, of sentences in Portuguese. In this lesson, I'm gonna talk about the most common ones and the most important ones for you to understand, especially to understand how to use this sentence, how to construct the sentences, okay? Então vamos lá. So today we're going to talk about frases declarativas. So yeah, you can download. I see many of you talking about, oh, I couldn't download. You can download this material. It is not available yet. It will be available after the class, okay? The material from yesterday is already available. If you cannot download the material from yesterday, let us know. Then maybe there is a mistake on the website. I have to check that out. But after the class, go to the website and everything will be available for download. Okay, guys? Muito bom. So, frases declarativas. So these declarative sentences, they can be affirmative or negative. Okay, let's talk about this a little bit today. We also have frases interrogativas, which is interrogative, like a question, right? And exclamativas, which are phrases with like an exclamation point. And we have the imperative sentences, but we're not talking about imperative sentences today because it's more advanced topic. Today, let's stick to the most basic ones, the most important ones that you really have to know, okay? Então vamos lá. Let's start talking about the most important ones, which are frases declarativas, which means like it's a statement sentence, right? Frases declarativas. It can be affirmative or negative. So here I have some examples. I didn't have time to translate this yet because, as I told you, I just prepared this material, but I will add some translations before I upload this material to the website, okay? So let's see some examples of affirmative sentences, which are the most common ones, right? Por exemplo, eu gosto de caminhar no parque. I like walking at the park. Eu gosto de caminhar no parque. It's a very simple affirmative sentence, okay? Outro exemplo. João estuda português. Outro exemplo. Nós teremos outra aula amanhã. So, João estuda, I said Portuguese, but it's Japanese. João estuda japonês. João studies Japanese. Nós teremos outra aula amanhã. We will have another class tomorrow. So all these classes, they are affirmative sentences, right? So can you see that all these sentences, they follow the same structure, right? So first, we have the subject of the sentence, which is usually a noun or a pronoun. So eu, I am the subject, right? Eu. Then we have the verb, eu gosto. Then we have some kind of complement, right? So, eu gosto de caminhar no parque. So, João, which is the subject, the noun. Estuda, the verb, and then a complement, like what. He studies what? Japonês. Nós, which means we, it is the pronoun, the subject. Teremos, we will have, the verb, and then we have the complement, like what will we have? Outra aula amanhã. So you see, this is very similar to English and other languages, right? So this is not too difficult. This is the most simpler, easier kind of phrase, sentence that we have in Portuguese, okay? Now let's see examples of negative sentences. These are a little bit different from the other languages. So let's take a look at that. Por exemplo, eu não gosto de caminhar no parque. So I don't like. In Portuguese, we don't have this. We don't use this auxiliary verbs to make negative sentences. We don't have the do not. We just use the word no. So it's simpler actually. You just add the word não right before the verb. Eu não gosto de caminhar no parque. So you see, the only difference between an affirmative and negative sentence here is the word não, which is located right before the verb. Certo? Eu não gosto de caminhar no parque. João não estuda japonês. Okay? So this is the difference, and this is the most common way of making negative sentences. There are other ways, I'm going to talk about that in a minute. Outro exemplo, nós não teremos outra aula amanhã. We will not have another class tomorrow. Okay, so in Portuguese, whenever you want to say don't or didn't or will not, in Portuguese it's always the same thing. It's always the same structure. Just place the word no right before the verb. Okay, it's easier, simpler than English actually, which is not something common. Usually Portuguese is more complicated than English, but in this context, negative sentences in Portuguese, they are simpler, they are easier. Muito bom. So we also have other words that are used to make negative sentences in Portuguese, such as the word nunca and jamais. Both words mean never or ever, depending on the translation, right? Then depending on the translation, you can translate this into never or ever in English. So, vamos ver exemplos. Eu nunca estudei japonês. I never studied Japanese. This is past tense, studied. Eu nunca estudei japonês. So here, it's just like the word never, right? Very simple. Another example. Eu jamais iria a uma festa durante a pandemia. I would never go to a party during the pandemic. Eu jamais iria. So the word nunca and jamais, they both mean never. But the word nunca is much more common. Okay? And we usually, the most common use of the word nunca is to talk about the past things that you never did. This is the most common use. You could also use to talk about the future or things that you never do, but it's more commonly used in the past tense. And the word jamais, sometimes it is used to talk about the future tense, but they are, you can use them interchangeably. The meaning is the same, okay? The word nunca is much more common in Portuguese. Yes, so there is one comment here from Dan. Yes, we also have the word ninguém is also a negative. It's also used in negative sentences. It means no one, no one. So when you want to say no one, you say ninguém in Portuguese. Muito bom. Another interesting thing that you should know about Portuguese is that sometimes, depending on the region, some people use the word não 2 times. It is not wrong, it's just like we call it regionalism. It's something that is used, some kind of language that is used in one part, certain parts of Brazil. Então, por exemplo, especially in the Northeast, this is very common. Ela não disse isso, não. So it means she didn't say that. But you see that we repeat the word no. It is not necessary, but many people speak like that. It's just like a colloquial way of saying she didn't say that. Ela não disse isso. So this last não here It's completely optional. You don't have to say it, but a lot of people say it. It's just like a regionalism, okay? Another thing that happens after that, also in the same areas, some people drop to make the sentence shorter. We drop the beginning and just use the verb and the word now. So, for instance, the most traditional way of saying I don't know is eu não sei. Eu não sei. I don't know. Eu não sei. I don't know. But many people would say no. So this is more common in the Northeast, but we have people from the Northeast all over Brazil. So you can listen. You will probably hear some Brazilians saying using this kind of structure. Okay, sentence structure. It is not wrong. It's more colloquial, but I recommend that you use the traditional way of using the word no. I don't want you to get confused and make mistakes. So I recommend you use the safe way of using this word, which is place the word no right before the verb. Okay, this is the safe way of using this word so you don't make mistakes. Tá bem? So Taylor's asking, do they use this extra não in Maranhão? Yes, so Maranhão is Northeast, so I believe they do use this word there. I am from Piauí, which is right next to Maranhão, and my family, they do this double negation all the time. It's very, very common. Muito bom, excelente. So say no. Yeah, you could say no, which means I don't know, but this is more, I recommend you say, you could also say não sei. So não sei is the traditional form, is the traditional way. Não sei. Não sei. Eu não sei. Or não sei, it's the same thing. You know that the pronoun eu, I, you can drop it most of the time. Most of the time, you can just drop it. You don't have to say it because it is implied in the conjugation. Okay, so you could just say eu não sei or não sei. The pronoun eu, most of the time, it is optional because it is implied in the conjugation. Okay, so you could just say or não say. Both ways are commonly used. Okay, this other form, say no, this is less used. This is more regional. Tá bem? So these two ways here are totally okay. Muito bom, gente. Now let's practice a little bit. I have 3 questions for you. I wanted to practice everything that we talked about. I want you to practice affirmative sentence, negative sentences, also how to use the word no and nunca. So 3 questions for you, and I want you to practice in the comments. And I also want to encourage you to speak out loud, okay? Say these questions and answers out loud so you practice speaking a little bit, okay? Even if you are by yourself. Então vamos lá. O que você gosta de fazer nas horas livres? What do you like to do in your spare time, your free time? O que você gosta de fazer? How would you answer this question using an affirmative sentence? So just tell me one thing that you like to do in Portuguese, okay? If you're a beginner, if you need help, it's okay to use Google Translate now. It will help you to understand. You will learn this with more time, okay? You need more time to learn how to answer these questions. I cannot teach you everything in one class, but so if you're a beginner, it's okay to use Google Translate for help, okay? So we do this exercise. Second question for you. O que você não gosta de fazer? What you don't like to do. So to answer this question, you have to use the word não. So let's practice. How would you answer this question in Portuguese? Remember to place the word não right before the verb, okay? And remember, if you use the verb gostar, you have to use the preposition de. Eu gosto de, eu não gosto de, and then you can add any verb right after the preposition de, tá bem? And the third question for you, this one is in past tense. And this one I'm using the word nunca. O que você nunca fez? So tell me something that you never did. Never. So I never did this. Eu nunca, por exemplo, eu nunca fui à Tailândia. I never went to Thailand. Eu nunca fui à Tailândia. So use the word nunca and any verb in past tense. Okay, so here we are going to practice not only the sentence structure, but also present and past tense. Tá bem? I'm going to read some of your comments in a minute. So many comments. Very good, guys. Eu não gosto de acordar cedo. Muito bom, Michael. Não gosta de ir na escola. So here if you're talking about yourself, Imo, remember to conjugate the verb for the person eu, the first person eu. Eu não gosto. Não gosto, with the letter O at the end. Não gosta, you're talking about he, she, you're saying you don't like. Você não gosta. So, if you're talking about yourself, you should say gosto. Eu gosto de correr. Muito bom, Carrie. Eu gosto de ler livros. Excelente. Também gosto de ler livros. Muito bom, Robert. Eu gosto de beber uma cerveja no Jobibá. Muito bom. Eu não gosto de ler jornais. Muito bom, Theo. You don't need the second preposition de here, just the first one. Eu não gosto de ler jornais, ok? Muito bom. Eu gosto de correr. Excelente, Shirley. Eu não gosto de jogar futebol. So here, jogar with the letter J. Jogar futebol. Muito bom, Omar. Eu não gosto de dormir. Really? Eu adoro dormir. Muito bom. Excelente. Okay, looking for more questions now with the word nunca. Okay, so many comments. Eu nunca joguei futebol. Muito bom, Ruth. So here in Portuguese, the word futebol, even though we pronounce ball, we don't write as in English. We don't write with A-L-L. We write with O-L-L. One L, actually, sorry. The beginning is correct, so just the last at the end, B-O-L, B-O-L is how we write ball in Portuguese. We got this word from English, actually, futebol, but then we write in a different way and we pronounce in a different way. Muito bom. Carlos, eu gosto de aprender português. Lea, eu nunca fui ao Brasil. Muito bom, Lea. So here, foi is the conjugation for the third person singular. Remember that I mentioned these names yesterday, the persons. So to conjugate for eu, the first person, you should say fui, with the letter U, F-U-I. Eu nunca fui. Eu nunca fui ao Brasil. Muito bom, Lea. Eu gosto de cantar. Muito bom. Eu não gosto de fazer faxina. Eu também não, Mônica. Faxina with N. N, faxina. Muito bom. Excelente. Eu nunca fui ao Brasil. Same thing here, Rock. You should say fui, not foi. Fui. F-U-I. F-U-I. Tá bem? Excelente. Eu nunca fui para o Egito. Muito bom, Michael. So this is how you write the verb to go in past tense for the first person. This verb is irregular, so it is a little bit difficult, but we use it all the time. So I highly recommend you focus on learning this verb, the verb to go in Portuguese, which is the verb ir. We use that a lot in present, past, future, all the tenses. So you should learn, especially present, past, and future. Muito bom, excelente. So let's continue. I'm gonna go back and read some of your comments again in a minute. Okay. So good question here from Leah. How would you say I wouldn't do that? Would you say use nunca? So we would use the word nunca if you want to say I would never do that. If you want to say I wouldn't do that, you don't have to use the word nunca. I'm going to give you 2 examples. So you could say eu não faria isso. So here I'm using the tense that is called futuro do pretérito. Remember that I mentioned this tense yesterday. Oops, let me place your question here below. So this is the tense that is called futuro. It's the conditional tense, futuro do pretérito. And it is equivalent to I would do this, I would. Is the would plus verb in English. In Portuguese, we have one tense for that. Então, eu não faria isso means I would not. I wouldn't do that. If you want to say I would never do that, then you should say eu nunca faria isso. Eu nunca. Then in this case, it means I would never do that. Tá bem? Good question. Muito bom, gente. Excelente. Okay, so let's continue, and then I'm gonna go back and read some of the comments, and if you have questions as well, I'll have some time for that. So let's talk a little bit about frases interrogativas, which means interrogative sentences. Basically, we use this to ask questions, to ask for information. Usually we use the question mark, right? There are some interrogative sentences without the question mark, with like an indirect question, but we're not going to talk about that today. Let's talk about the most common kind of question, which is the question that we use the question mark when you're writing. But when we are speaking in Portuguese, it is very, very important to also change the intonation, right? Because in Portuguese, we don't use auxiliary verbs to ask questions. We don't say, do you, did you? No, we don't have that in Portuguese. So sometimes the same sentence could be affirmative or interrogative or negative. We don't know if the intonation is the same. So I'm going to give you some examples so you understand how to use that. Então vamos lá. Por exemplo, você sabe falar português? Did you notice that when I ask a question, my intonation goes up at the end? Você sabe falar português? O João gosta de chocolate? So the intonation goes up. This is very important when you're asking questions in Portuguese. Por exemplo, so these two sentences, they are exactly the same. There's only one difference. In written language, it is the question mark, and in spoken language, what is the difference? Only the intonation. Okay, if you don't give the right intonation, people will not know if you're asking a question or if you're making a statement. Então, por exemplo, I'm gonna invite you now to practice with me your pronunciation. So repeat after me. The first one is just a regular sentence, an affirmative sentence, and the second one is an interrogative, it's a question, ok? Então vamos lá. O João gosta de chocolate. O João gosta de chocolate. O João gosta de chocolate. I'm affirming that. João likes chocolate. This is a fact. Now, what if I don't know and I want to know if he likes chocolate? O João gosta de chocolate? O João gosta de chocolate? O João gosta de chocolate? Do you see? The intonation goes up at the end. Actually goes up and down 2 times, right? O João gosta de chocolate? So there's an emphasis in the verb and then at the end of the word chocolate. O João gosta de chocolate? And also usually make also a question in our faces. Okay, guys, this is very important, okay? The intonation of questions. Especially in this kind of question when the sentence, the affirmative sentence could be exactly the same as the question. But we also, of course, have the adverbs and pronouns that are used to ask questions, just like we have in the other language. So if you want to say what, when, which, why, how much, where, all of these little words, they also indicate questions. They're also used a lot to ask questions, right? So I'm going to give you a few examples using these pronouns. Que horas são? What time is it? Qual é seu nome? What is your name? Onde você mora? Where do you live? Por que você estuda português? Why do you study Portuguese? So you see all these examples, I'm using these pronouns or adverbs to ask a question. So then in this case, it is more clear that this is a question, but nevertheless, we do use the question intonation, okay? So let's practice a little bit. I want you to practice how to ask a question, okay? So I'm not gonna ask you a question. I want you to ask a question using one of these pronouns and adverbs that I just listed. And I wanted to practice at home, how would you ask this question with the correct intonation, okay? So ask me a question using these pronouns and adverbs. Que, which means what. Quem, which means who. Qual, which means which. Por quê, why. Quanto, how much or how many. Onde, where. Quando, when. E como, how. Okay? Muito bom. So I see a question here about the porquês. This is a little bit a long topic. I made a video about this. It is available on my YouTube channel. So just go to my YouTube channel and click Speaking Brazilian Porquê. You find the video. I explain there are 4 different porquês in Portuguese. I recommend you watch that video so you see all the examples, all the explanation about the words porquê. Muito bom. Excellent. So I'm going to read some of the comments in a minute, but before I read why you think about your questions, I'm going to talk a little bit about frases exclamativas, okay? And then I'm going to take some time to read your comments. So frases exclamativas, as the name say, they are used with the exclamation point, and also the intonation is very important when you are speaking, right? So this is similar in other languages that I know. So in English as well, if you have the exclamation point, it means you were excited. There's some kind of emotion going on, right? Usually excitement. So when you're writing, you should use the exclamation point, which in Portuguese we call it ponto de exclamação. And when you are speaking, you should show in the intonation, right? I love exclamation points because I'm always very excited about things. I should use it a little bit less. I use it a lot. So I'm going to give you some examples. Que bom que vocês estão assistindo a esta aula. I'm so happy. I'm glad you are watching this class. So in Portuguese, we use a lot this expression, que bom. It means like I'm glad, even though there is no pronoun I in this sentence. When you translate into English, it makes more sense to translate as, oh, I'm glad. Que bom que vocês estão assistindo a esta aula. Another example, tenha uma ótima semana. Have a wonderful week. This one you could use or not the exclamation point. Sometimes it's optional, right? Sometimes it's your decision if you should use it or not. Wow, que lindo! Wow, this is so beautiful. So as you see again, I'm using the que lindo. Here it is like what, how beautiful if you translate, but in English we would not say exactly like this. So sometimes the translations are not perfect. But I would translate this, whoa, this is beautiful. Whoa, beautiful. Que lindo. Parabéns. Congratulations. Parabéns. So all these phrases or sentences are examples of exclamative or exclamatory sentences, right? So we have the intonation, we have the exclamation point. So I wanted to practice a little bit. I want to know how would you congratulate someone who is celebrating a birthday or anniversary, or someone who was promoted at work. Would you like to practice a little bit? Create an exclamatory sentence and write me in the comments. And remember to practice aloud. It is important to practice aloud so you practice your pronunciation and intonation, okay? Now I'm gonna read some of the comments and try to help you with your Portuguese. I'm speaking too much, so I have to drink a lot of water. Ok, então vamos lá. Okay, interesting question. I don't know. Do you have any direct translation of the word yikes in Portuguese? Do you have any suggestion, Rod? I don't know. No idea how to translate this into Portuguese. Is it a good thing or a bad thing? I never understood it. It's like, ooh, maybe. It's a bad thing, right? Muito bom. Looking, okay. So many comments. Você conseguiu. So this is a good one. You made it. Você conseguiu. Muito bom. Feliz aniversário. Happy birthday. Muito bom. Parabéns. Muito bom. Looking for more comments here. Nossa, this one is very good. We use this all the time. Nossa, it can have different meanings. It can mean like wow or nice, or when you're expressing any kind of surprise. Muito bom. Você gosta de comida italiana? Sim, adoro comida italiana. Muito bom. Qual é a sua cor favorita? What is your favorite color? Muito bom. Por que usa o artigo definido em frente a um nome? So why do we use a definite article in front of a name? There is no why. This is just originalism as well. It is not mandatory. It is optional. So the use of definite articles in front of names is optional. You can use it or not. Some people use it, some people don't. According to the grammar, both ways are correct. So in São Paulo, Rio, we usually do use the article in front of names. Some places in the Northeast, they don't use it. It's completely optional. Good question, Karen. Looking for more comments. Quando você chegou nos Estados Unidos? When did you get to the US? Eu cheguei nos Estados Unidos em 2013, 2013. Looking, okay. Por que você aprendeu inglês? Muito bom. So why did you learn English? Quando você visita o Brasil? So many good questions, guys. I try to go to Brazil once a year. Eu vou ao Brasil uma vez por ano. Muito bom. Qual mês você nasceu? Eu nasci em junho. So what month were you born? In June. Muito bom, gente. Excelente. So this is a good question. I know that someone already answered, right? But I'm going to answer to everyone. So the word cadê, it is used a lot. It means onde está. Onde está? Where is it? Onde está? It is more commonly used in informal language, but it's very common. I don't think it is regional. I think it is used all over Brazil. Cadê? Where is it? Onde está? It is interesting because it's one word that replaces two words, right? Onde está? Muito bom. Excelente, gente. Looking for more comments. Okay, so now I still have some time. So this is the material that I prepared for today. You can download this material after the class. And now I still have some time, so I want to use this time to answer your questions. And I'm looking here to see if if Aline sent me any questions. Ok. O que significa? So a question from nature, refresh. O que significa também? Também means also or too. So this can have this word can have two different meanings. It can mean also or it can mean too. The translation into English can vary, okay? So something too or also. Muito bom, excelente. Okay, guys. So now let's use the rest of the time to answer your questions about Portuguese or any questions you have about my courses. So I just want you to remember from this class this structure in Portuguese. And one thing that it is very important for you to understand is that the translation into English is not always super clear. It's not always the same. So sometimes you have to stop translating and just accept that the language is like this, okay? Okay, so I'm seeing some comments here. O que significa kkk? It doesn't mean anything. It is, we use this in informal text messages. It means laughing. It's a kind of laughing. It's like ha ha ha. So this is very common in Brazil. People write KKKK instead of... it's a way of expressing a laugh. Yeah, it means ha ha ha. Very good. I personally prefer using ha 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 because we also use that in Brazil. Muito bom. Looking for more comments and questions, guys. When do you use pra and para? So they have the same meaning. Pra is the one that we use in spoken language because it is faster, right? Pra. So we never say para in spoken language. No, we always say pra. So we can use pra whenever you use para. They are interchangeable. But when you are writing, I think it is preferable to use para instead of pra. Very good question. Okay, so this question about possessive pronouns is the answer for this is the same one that I gave for the use of the articles in front of personal of names, of nouns, it is optional, okay? So you can use the articles in front of possessive pronouns or not. Both ways are commonly used in Brazil. It is optional, you can use it or not, okay? So it is a regionalism as well. So like in São Paulo and Rio, people use it. In other places, people don't use it. There is no difference. So don't worry about that. Muito bom. Oi, Débora, tudo bom? Como está seu cachorro? Wilson está muito bem. So, do you know my dog, guys? He's so cute. His name is Wilson, and he's 14 years old, and he's awesome. So a different question here. What is the difference between ao and para? So I'm going to show you. So these are two prepositions. Sometimes they're very different, and sometimes they are similar. They can be used in the same interchangeably. So we have the preposition para. So whenever we're talking about a movement from one place to another, you can use the preposition para or the preposition a. And then we have the variations with the articles. Para a, para o, which is equal. A, which is equal pra. Para o means the same thing as ao, which means the same thing as pro. So, but they only have the same meaning when we are talking about a movement from one place to another, okay? Then they have the same meaning. Some verbs require one preposition, and some verbs require the other preposition. There is not a simple answer for when to use one or another, because you have to memorize verb by verb when that is the case. But for example, with the verbs ir, which means to go, you can use one or the other. With the verbs viajar, we can also use one or the other. So remember that. So I'm going to give you sentences. Eu vou ao Brasil no final do ano. I'll go to Brazil at the end of the year. So I could say ao Brasil. I could say eu vou para o Brasil. I could say eu vou pro Brasil. What is the difference? There is no difference. The meaning is the same. Which one is more commonly used in colloquial language? The last one. Okay. Another example using and why do I have the O here? Because Brazil is a masculine country. Okay. I'm gonna give you an example with a feminine. So let's say I'm going to Italy. So eu vou a Itália. So here I cannot say ao. I have to say a, because it's a feminine word. The word Itália is feminine. Eu vou Itália. So here I cannot say para a. I cannot say para o. I have to say para a. Eu vou Itália. So here I should say pra. Okay? So I hope I have answered your question, but as I said, depending on the verb you're using, you have to use one or the other. There is no simple answer for that. But with these two verbs, you can use both. They are interchangeable, okay? And when you're talking about going to a place that is very close to you, that you go for a very short period of time, the most correct one to use is the a or ao. However, in spoken language, a lot of people use the pronouns, the prepositions na and no. Por exemplo, eu vou ao supermercado. This is the correct way, the correct preposition that you should use when you're going to a place for a very short period of time. But most Brazilians would say eu vou no supermercado. This is colloquial language, okay? This is accepted in colloquial language, even though it is not completely correct, because it means I'm going in the supermarket, not to the supermarket. You know what I mean? Because no means in, on, or at, and ao means to a place. You're going to a place. But this is used a lot in colloquial language. Okay, lots of information. You can now, if this is too confusing for you, I recommend you watch a replay and think about it and see all the examples. And this changes a lot. The use of prepositions changes a lot depending on the verb that you are using and the meaning. Okay, there is no simple answer to that. Very good question. Looking for more questions, guys. So one question about my course. Olá, Virginia, eu tenho uma pergunta. What level is the new conversation course? And would you recommend it to someone who was enrolled in the pre-intermediate in the past? So yes, so if you have taken my pre-intermediate course, I recommend you join the grammar and conversation, because this is the continuation. I did not have this course before, but I just created, and it is perfect for those who have finished the pre-intermediate class. And the grammar and conversation, you're going to learn intermediate level grammar that you have not learned in the other previous courses. And we are going to practice in conversation, how to use that in phrases in conversation. How can I use this grammar in a more practical way? So that's what you're going to learn in this course. And then after this course, I recommend you be more prepared to join a more advanced class, like the classes in the academy. Okay, so I do recommend you join this course. Muito bom, Jessie. Looking for more questions, guys. So many questions. Okay, so quais são as diferenças entre rapaz, garoto e menino? So they're all similar. Rapaz is more used for like a young man. Garoto and menino, they are synonyms. They both mean boy. And I think the word menino is more common, is the most used one. But so rapaz is more used for young man. It's usually a little bit older than garoto and menino. Very good question, Ron. Okay, so this is a very good question, Sophie. So in French, we have the on as a pronoun, on parle. How would you do this in Portuguese? We do have a pronoun that is very similar to this pronoun in Portuguese, which is the pronoun a gente. It's actually a pronoun phrase. So it is also a pronoun that is more informal, also used in informal language, and the conjugation is also simpler. It's the conjugation of the third person singular, just like the pronoun on. You don't say on parlons, right? It's on parle. Same thing in Portuguese. When you use the pronoun a gente, you should use the conjugation, the same conjugation for he and she. So I'm going to give you a couple of examples. So when you say, so if you want to say on parle, you are going to say a gente fala. A gente means it has exactly the same meaning as nós. A gente means nós. A gente does not mean people, okay? This is a confusion that a lot of people make, because in Spanish, gente means people. In Portuguese, a gente, the phrase a gente means we, means nós. There's no difference in meaning. There is only the difference in the conjugation. The conjugation is different. Okay, so a gente fala means exactly the same thing as nós falamos. Okay, nós falamos. Tá bem? Everyone uses this phrase, and it's very common in all situations. You can use it. Okay, the conjugation is so simpler. Muito bom. Por que os pronomes interrogativos não têm til? I don't understand your question, Carla. Til in the pronouns? No. So in Spanish we have 2 question marks. In Portuguese we don't have 2 question marks. Just 1. Yeah. Muito bom. Looking for more questions. O que significa embora no contexto de vai embora? Ok, my goal is to be... Ok, então vamos lá. O que significa embora no contexto de vai embora? So this word embora is very interesting, because depending on the way that you use it, it has different meanings. So embora could be although, embora, it's a more like formal language. But with the verb ir embora, it means to leave, to go away, to leave and not come back. So if you say eu vou embora, it means you are leaving the party and you are not coming back. Okay, so this is an interesting meaning. But if you say just embora without the verb ir, it means although, embora, and then you have to use a subjunctive tense. What is the question that you told me?
Mulika Musini, if my goal is to get to intermediate level, conversation level by September, is that doable possible?
So a question about by Muliki.
Musica.
Okay,
Mulika.
so if Mulika, if you want to get to an intermediate level by September, so this is a difficult question to answer because, okay, just changing the. Because it really depends on the level that you are now. I cannot promise you that you will be fluent in a few months. It really depends on a lot of things. So I recommend you take the placement test to first to choose the best course for you. If you already have studied all the grammar, you're very comfortable with grammar, you're okay with that, you just want to practice conversation, if you are comfortable with a class 100% in Portuguese, the Speaking Brazilian Academy is a good option for you, and will give you a lot of practice and it will help you to feel much more comfortable in Portuguese by September. That's for sure. So that I can guarantee that if you already have an intermediate level of Portuguese, that the Speaking Brazilian Academy is going to help you a lot to practice, to feel more comfortable. You have a lot of support of the group. You have a lot of content material to study by yourself to give you to help you with your Portuguese. But if you are still at a beginner level, struggling with basic grammar, then you're going to need much more time, right? So it really depends on where you are now. So if you're still struggling with grammar but your level is intermediate, then I recommend you start with the grammar and conversation workshop to work on the grammar, and then I recommend you join the Speaking Brazilian Academy to practice more conversation after that. Tá bem? Ok, muito bom. So it really depends. A lot of people, I receive this question a lot. Oh, how long will it take? It really depends on a lot of things. So my beginner's course lasts 3 months, and some people after the 3 months can already speak a little bit, even only after 3 months. But some people really need more time. It depends on what other languages do you know. How many time do you have to put really to study? If you study every day, you're going to have one result. If you study once a week, you're going to have a completely different result, right? So it really depends on a lot of stuff. But my courses, they are structured in a way that they will give you a very solid foundation. And the Speaking Brazilian is more to practice conversation. So if that's what you want, then the Speaking Brazilian course is a good one for you. So stick with me, guys. I'm going to have the giveaway in a couple of minutes. I'm going to give away pronunciation training with one of my teachers from Speaking Brazilian School. So stay with me. I just want to answer a couple more questions, and then I'm going to have the giveaway, okay? So Jessie Marshall is asking, Olá, Virginia, eu tenho uma pergunta. What level is the new conversation course? And I already answered this question, Jessie. Sorry. It's just Aline sent me a couple of questions that I should answer. If my goal is to get... Okay, I already answered this from Mulika. Okay, so I already answered the question that I received. So any last questions about my courses, guys? I'm going to focus on answering questions about the courses now. So David has one question. São diferentes níveis em academia? So the academy, I don't divide it in levels. The students, they vary a little bit, because when you are at an intermediate level, each person has a different level, right? So the level is upper intermediate. So in the academy, you are expected to know all the intermediate level grammar and all the intermediate level vocabulary, and the classes are going to help you to improve your vocabulary, to be more fluent, to get more fluent with practice, okay? The academy will offer a place to practice a lot. But the level is always the same. Some classes are more advanced than others, but this is naturally because of the students. I don't divide in levels, okay? So question, how much are the courses? You'll find all this information on my website. I'm going to show you one course. So I'm going to show you where you can find this information. So you go to my website, speakingbrazilian.com. And then you just click on courses, and then here you find all the courses that I offer. If your level is a beginner, you find all the information on this page. If you just go, you find all the curriculum, etc., schedule, everything here. But if you just want to see the prices, just click on enrolling course and you see the prices below. There are options. So there is this option, the $397 option. It's a premium option. It includes a live class via Zoom every week with a Brazilian teacher and a small group of students, 6 to 10 students per class, okay? And this is for 12 weeks. And in addition to that, you also have one review class a month with me on a Sunday. And the basic option, the basic course, is a little bit more affordable, and it does not include the weekly live classes. It includes everything else, okay? And you have access to a lot of material on the website, and this material will be yours forever. You have lifetime access to the course, so you can take the course at your own pace, okay? And if you want to there is also this option of payment plans that you can choose, but the upfront payment's a little bit more affordable, okay? You have a discount to pay upfront. So this is the beginner's course, and the other courses, they have different prices. Just go to the website, click on courses, click the course that you choose, and then you see all the information on these pages, okay? And if you're not sure about the level, click here to take a placement test. This placement test is super simple, and it will help you decide what is the best course for you. And I also just want to remind you that I offer a 30-day money-back guarantee in all my courses. So if you're not sure, feel free to try it. If you change your mind, just let me know within 30 days from the day of purchase, and I'll send you a full refund. Another thing that many students do is to switch to another course. So sometimes you join one course, it's a little bit more difficult than I expected, or it's a little bit more simpler, easier than I expected. Can I change? Can I switch? Yes, you can switch to another class. There is no problem. Just email us and I'll help you with that, okay? Muito bom, gente. I think I talked everything I wanted to talk about the courses. Now let's see the giveaway. I'm going to give away, and then we can stay a couple of more minutes to answer more questions. So Aline is doing the giveaway for me. So today, the winner is Barbora Kurokova. Barbora Kurokova, you are the winner. Are you here? You are the winner. So you just won a 30-minute pronunciation training with one of my teachers. And get in touch with Aline. You can do that via our website. Just click on contact, or email us at school@speakingbrazilian.com, and she'll give you all the information about your course. Okay, so Barbora, you are the winner. I just won the pronunciation training. Muito bom, gente. So I still have a couple of minutes to answer your questions. I see one question here from Superfish. No, this is answered already. Carla Lopes, qual é a forma de pagamento? How can you pay it? You can pay it using credit card, PayPal. So just click there and you see the options. I'm not sure. There are some restrictions depending on where you live. So I recommend you test and click there and see if it is available. If it is not working, let me know. Email us and I'll try to send you another option to find a solution for you. Okay? Okay, guys, any last questions? I think I answered most of your questions, right? Don't forget to go to my Instagram account after the class to take the challenge. So my Instagram account is Virginia_Langhammer, my last name. Follow me. I'm going to post the second challenge today after the class. And don't forget to go to the website to download the material that I prepared for today's class. I'm going to upload in the website soon. Okay, guys, it was a pleasure to be with you today, and I'll see you again tomorrow, same time, 2 p.m. Beijo grande e até amanhã. Tchau, tchau.